Hello students, welcome to today's lesson on solving equations. Today we're going to focus in on solving multi-step equations. So before we begin, let's review. How do we solve an equation? We solve an equation by isolating the variable, using inverse operations. So go ahead and add that into your notes. Okay, so solving multi-step equations. Here's our steps that we're going to use, and I want you to memorize this kind of acronym. D for distribute. We're going to distribute if necessary. Then C, we're going to combine any like terms we might have. And last, we're going to solve, or I like to replace that one with isolate. Isolate the variable. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our examples here and see how we do. All right, so when I look at this first equation, I notice that there are no parentheses in the equation, so we don't have any distributive property. However, I do see that there are some like terms on one side of the equal sign, so I'm going to begin by combining my like terms on this problem. Now, when I add 3x and 5x together, I'm adding the 3 plus 5x. That's what's going on in my head. So 3 plus 5x, that would leave us with 8x. We'll bring this 48 down because we haven't done anything to eliminate 48. And then, so what would we do next? Well, I notice over here that this is multiplication, 8x. When I put those side by side like that, that's a multiplication problem. We just don't put the dot in there or the multiplication symbol. So to undo multiplication, as we know, we need to divide by whatever x is being multiplied by. So when I divide 8 by 8, I get 1 or just x. And then when I divide 48 by 8, I get 6. Okay? So I'd like for you guys to go ahead and pause the video and try the your turn problem, and then I'll be back with you so you can check it. So here we see on this problem, we would combine those like terms and get 2x. Bring our 40 down, we would divide both sides by 2, and x would be 20. Okay, moving on to our next example. Notice that I have a number butted up against a set of parentheses. In this problem, we're going to use the distributive property, so I'm going to multiply negative 3 times 4y, and that's going to give me negative 12y. And then we're going to multiply negative 3 times 1, and that's going to give us a plus negative 3, and that equals 33. Okay, so let's see, what should I do next? Well, I want to work backwards through the order of operations, so I need to undo this addition part here. So the inverse of adding negative 3 would be to add positive 3 to both sides. And when I do that, I get negative 12y, sorry about that, equals 36. The remaining step is to undo the multiplication again, so we're going to divide by negative 12 on both sides. When we do that, we end up with y equals 36 divided by 12 is 3. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. So y equals negative 3 is our solution. Okay, guys, I'd like for you to pause the video and try the next problem to the right. Okay, guys, so I would multiply. That'd give me negative 6x plus negative 14 equals 44. The inverse, that's a 4. The inverse of adding negative 14 is to add positive 14. So I got negative 6x equals 58. Okay. My next step would to be divide by negative 6. Okay, and when I do that, x equals negative 58 over 6. And I could turn that into a decimal, which would be 9, negative 9, and 4/6, which would be negative 9 and 2/3, or negative 9.6 repeating. Okay, guys? So let's stop right there. I think that's enough to get you through today's lesson. No, let's go ahead and do these last two. We've got a couple more minutes. We can run the video. All right, so let's go ahead and distribute on this one. Notice I've got a number times the parentheses, plus 5 equals negative 13. So distribute. Then we're going to combine our like terms. So I've got 2x, negative 8 plus 5 would be negative 3. That minus sign acts as a negative sign here on the 8, guys. The minus in front of the 8 goes with the 8. So then, of course, I need to solve this by isolating the variable. So I'll add 3 to both sides. So now I've got 2x equals negative 10. If I owe 13 and I have 3, if I pay what I owe, I still owe 10. And so my final step would be to divide by 2. And so x equals negative 5. Okay? All right, guys, I'd like for you to take this last one, pause the video, and let's see how you do on it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.